Is everybody well? Back in the office today, but only for an half day because I'm still dying. Hope everyone is well. We're going to be talking about Diogo Costa today, and there's some other news as well, which we're going to cover a little bit later on. But I want to talk about Diogo Costa now. I'm sure everybody saw what happened last night, and if you've not, you should have done, because we've seen a performance from a goalkeeper that we've been absolutely crying out for. Now, we know David De Gea is a shot stopper, but there's all the other sort of areas and aspects of goalkeeping which can be improved on. I think he actually shown glimpses of being able to do some of the other stuff in the Everton game. But if we're holding ourselves to high standards, you have to look at Diogo Costa. He's going to be one of the top goalkeepers in the world, probably like the top 4 or 5 goalkeepers in the world in the next few years, if he's not already there right now. He has got the complete package. 6'4", he's got the distribution, he's got the claiming, he's got the command of his area, and he's got the shot stopping. Last night he got an assist. When was the last time you saw De Gea start a counter-attack, drop the ball right on somebody's toe, and get an assist? Has he ever got an assist for United? I don't even know if he has. Now, there are some reports linking Costa to United. It's not just hey, didn't he play well in the Champions League last night? Let's talk about it. The reason we're talking about it is because there are some links. Now, right now, I can't tell you that they're proper, concrete, serious links, because they're not. They're whispers and rumours, and the most concrete one that we've got is there was a couple of outlets a couple of weeks ago that was suggesting that United had sent scouts to go and watch him. Outside of that, the links are pretty tedious, but I want to talk about some of the other reasons why it might be worth us looking into what he can do and why it would be worth bringing him in as a target. So he's getting a lot of interest from, everywhere. Barcelona, Newcastle, a couple of big ones that I've been interested in because he continues to impress in the Champions League. Last night he got what you should really call a goalkeeper hat-trick, if you like. Clean sheet, penalty save, and an assist. I mean, it literally doesn't really get better than that. What else do you want him to do? Save a kid from a fire? Like, he's the first player to record an assist and save a penalty in the same Champions League match. Ridiculous. And obviously it's been documented how much Erik Ten Hag wants to use playing out from the back, and a goalkeeper that can do that. And playing out from the back doesn't mean from restarts. Playing out from the back doesn't mean what you do as you're kicking off. That's not what playing out from the back is. Playing out from the back is a goalkeeper that can correctly utilise the ball at his feet. It's a very Dutch thing. And Van der Sar was extremely underrated at it, but no one really remembers Van der Sar for being a goalkeeper that could play out, but he could. No, he definitely could. This guy, he sweeps, he comes and claims things in the box, and like we saw last night, the kick that he had last night, which he got the assist for, very reminiscent of what you've seen Ederson do successfully at City. When teams push right up against you, you've got the ability to be able to just dink it right into the final third, and it becomes a threat. And that's massive. Like I said, De Gea's performance against Everton at the weekend might suggest that Ten Hag is working with him, and he could even believe that he's got something on his hands here. But I think as a contingency that it doesn't work out with David De Gea, and obviously you're looking at him being the number 1 paid goalkeeper in the world, from a pure financial sense, you could probably get more longevity and better value for money out of Costa going forward. He's probably better than him right now. I think you could definitely level up for years to come. And I think that could be an option for United. Now, I think he's got a much higher level of distribution than De Gea. He is comfortable on the ball. He is also a shot stopper. Like I said, he's a sizable human being, 6'4". He's got confident ball retrieval outside of his box, which we literally only saw De Gea do this weekend. Young with a lot of room to develop, and the release clause is pretty good value at 52.5-ish million. So I think he's definitely someone that United should be looking to bring in. I see what you guys think in the comments. I mean, if you had the choice right now, De Gea or Costa, who are you guys going with? Let me know in the comments. I'll read some of those out. Grant says, could negotiate the price down, but according to that's his release clause. Yeah. Red says, this is on the right tracks. Can we do one for Enzo Fernandez, says Jacko. Jacko, we did about 3 of them over the summer on Enzo Fernandez, who we told you was going to go rip it up. And lo and behold, he's out here ripping it up. Sensational player. Wassa says 50 mil, that's insane. The next Kepa, not really. It's the same price we paid for Fred. Circle of Leaders says Costa. Sam says Costa. Notch says a keeper who's dependable, commanding. Organizational quick thinking is bigger these days than ever. Gil says Costa. Wada says Costa. Celso says already did one with Enzo Fernandez when he was worth about 10 mil. Yep, we did. Taking Costa all day. Ryan says Costa younger and cheaper wages. Ross says time for a new keeper, so yes, go with Costa. I haven't seen one saying keep hold of De Gea yet. That's interesting. Matthew says love De Gea. Sorry, everyone. This is going to be a shorter video than I wanted it to be because clearly. Matthew says love De Gea to bits, but it's a mistake if we renew him at this stage. Give him a testimonial, show him the love and let him leave in the summer. Jack says Costa can't be offering De Gea another big contract now. Celso says if only United listened. Danny Sabbath says Costa. C. Jones says definitely worth a go. Could get a good chunk of the price from selling Henderson. It's a good point. Ishmael says prefer Robert Sanchez. Mason Reed says De Gea. I think that's the first shout we've had for De Gea on that. What's that? Waswa says the next big thing, but let's first get rid of De Gea and his big salary. Jang says De Gea is sentiments, but Costa looks like the real deal. What do I think of the Brighton goalkeeper Sanchez? I think he's a good player. I don't think he's on the same level as Costa. Danny says get a keeper that isn't a pussy claiming crosses. Yep, I agree. Notch says De Gea should never be on the wages he's on, so if that means change, then change. Martin says sell Henderson. Money from that would buy Costa. Chirag says De Gea's wages alone should not make us renew his contract unless he takes a cut. People don't take wage cuts. People who are playing regularly do not take a wage cut. They just don't. They walk in there and they go, I want 25-30% more money every single time. They never take a wage cut. Elsewhere, there is a little bit more transfer news with Milinkovic-Savic, potentially. This is from Romano, and he says Savic's agent, Kejman, has said Sergei's got 18 months left on his contract, and we'll have to discuss about the situation with Lazio after the World Cup. Apparently, they're still wanting 120 million euros for him. Not when he gets down to a year on his contract, you're not getting 100 million for him. Obviously, this January would be the last opportunity to sell. No, not for me. Not at that price, at least, anyway. Ed says, I like what I've seen from him in the Champions League, but Sanchez or Meslier would be my preference. Inside you, there's a God says, De Gea's 31, so he'd be a solid backup. You're not having De Gea as a backup. You're just not having De Gea as a backup. You're not having the world's most highly paid goalkeeper as your backup. You're just not. He would have to leave. Jay says, we're talking about De Gea's wages, so why he's a problem. He's literally bottom 3 to 5 goalkeepers in the league. Wow. Ed says De Gea ain't good enough for the modern game. Love everything he's done for us, but time to move on. Mason with a super chat says, keep De Gea one more season and slowly implement Costa. You might get away with that with a goalkeeper, especially if he knows he's back long term. Andrew says, it'd be interesting to see if there's any movement on De Jong now. Well, all he wanted to do was play Champions League, wasn't it? Allegedly. And obviously they're no longer going to be a part of the Champions League. So, Christ knows how that's going to go for them. Ishmael says, in the summer, Laurie Whitwell said that Meslier was a United long-term target. I think there's probably a few. Colin says, where would De Gea go? It's the same thing. I saw some the other day saying Juventus are struggling getting rid of all of their big money signings that are on like Mandzukic and people like that. They're in their 30s and they're on 180 to 200 grand a week. Very difficult to find people that will come in and take those players and those wages. And I think it's exactly the same thing with the likes of De Gea and unless there's a league that's currently throwing a load of cash around, and there isn't many of those currently throwing loads of cash around, I don't know. Mark Griffith says, give him another chance. Not sure about that. The Urmston Strangler says, I always have love for De Gea, but he's a keeper with limited ability. For Ten Hag to play the way we need in a new breed, and this is why we should have one of the top 5 goalkeepers. I would go with that, yeah. I would go with that. Napoli can do 120 million for Milinkovic-Savic, says Inside You is a god. Walid says just get rid of that 350k a week. We have. Ed says Milinkovic-Savic will hold out to his final year, then Lazio will have to take whatever they can get. That could happen. Yeah, if he gets to summer, then you're not getting 120 million for him. You're just not. It's going to be a lot less than that. Andrew says there's been a lack of a clear replacement for De Gea. Maybe this guy will be the one. I don't know about a lack of clear replacement. There's been options and replacements, but I think this is definitely a standout one. He's gettable. We know the price. You've seen the quality on the top stage. Not only that, the guy's a serial winner. I think he's been named as like player of the tournament, as goalkeeper, saving penalties, winning things for like the Portuguese youth teams, like under 17s, 19s, 21s, that sort of stuff. He's just been like absolutely destroying stuff. You know, made his debut fairly young, holding down a first team place. He is destined to be one of the top goalkeepers in the world. And I think that would be the move for us, is to try and get him, I think. DK Wilson says De Gea looked pretty good with his distribution versus Everton. He did, yeah. No one's denying he didn't. But the fact that it took us 11 years to see that is a little bit concerning. And even though his distribution looked good, and I would argue that not only did his distribution look good, there's levels to that, of course, but he was also sweeping outside of his box. And one of the 5 things that I mentioned that we learned following the game was maybe De Gea has bought himself some time. Maybe he's not. Maybe, they're working with him to try and patch up what he needs to do, but they've got their eye on signing somebody else no matter what anyway. But maybe having him play in a certain way is making him look better. And that's what a good coach does. Whether or not it's natively inside him, or it's something you have to teach him, a good coach is getting him to play more along the lines of what he wants out of him rather than what the player wants to do. And I like that. Grant says, what would I say should be the areas we're targeting in the next window? Do I think we'll buy in Jan? I didn't think we'd go as bananas as we did in the summer. So my instinct is to say, no, I don't think we will buy in January, but I can definitely be surprised and be wrong. Yeah, I could definitely be wrong. Mark says Oblak. 10 years ago, yes. 5 years ago, yes. Now, not so much. Rory says, do I think goalkeeper is really our priority now? There should be other positions addressed first. I think you need a goalkeeper. I think you need a striker. I think you probably should still upgrade in midfield. There's a chance that we might need a centre-half, or at least a centre-half that plays right back. I think that would give you pretty good cover across the board. Abhinav says, don't we have good keepers coming through the academy? Not to that level. Not anywhere near that level, actually. No, not that level. Anyway, back for Henderson. I don't think so after that interview, to be honest. And also, look at the form he's showing. It might be a blip. It might just be where he's truly at the moment. Chirag says we should sell Van der Beek, go get Milinkovic-Savic in the summer. That would be a solid midfield it would be solid, and it would be a big midfield as well. Brian says striker's got to be a priority. I agree. How long term we need a replacement for De Gea? Yes, and it'd be nice for us to be proactive and go and get that done before it becomes too much of an issue. Like, it's become an issue at striker. I think we could improve on De Gea, but it's not an issue, I don't think, at the moment. I think we can all see it would become an issue. So before it becomes a massive issue, I'd like to see United be proactive and go and fix it, and I think Diogo Costa would be the one. Andrew says, Ornstein on the overlap said we might have no budget in Jan after we overpaid in the summer. Also said Erik will want to do more business. Ultimately, I think that's the game, yeah. Of course we would want to do business. Of course Erik would want to do business. Is he going to be able to? Not sure on that. Righty, I'm going to wrap it up there because my voice is going. But I'll be back after the game for a review. Cheers for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe if you're new. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Laters. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here.